Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Valitra and this is Valartistry Hair Reviews. In this video, I'm going to show you how I did my daughter's hair, you guys. We're going to talk about the hair. This hair is from Organique and it is blended or synthetic hair, you guys. They also have these little frontals that you can buy for $9.99 from the hair store. So I'm going to show y'all the braid pattern that I did for her hair. And we did this because it was super quick and I needed something that was going to last and that was going to be good for natural hair. So first I parted it from ear to ear with most of the hair in the back. So it's not like from ear to ear slanted. It's literally from ear to the top of the head to the other ear. And then what I did was went ahead and made a circle braid. So like a around the world braid. I parted out, and as you can see, I'm parting it there and I'm braiding from her ear all the way down to the nape of her neck and all the way around, and we're just making one big circle around her head. I did this because I just wanted to, and I don't really like when the braids go straight back at the bottom. I mean, I do that sometimes, but it was more convenient for me to do this, and then you'll see why I did the top like that when I get to the top. Always make sure you moisturize the hair when you are braiding somebody's hair. Her hair is actually blow dried, stretched out, and so I went ahead and applied some oil to it so that it's not dry underneath her sew-in. So now the rest of these braids, now that I have like a base for the very bottom, are going to go straight down. So what I'm going to do is finish that off with a twist. I always finish my ends with a twist. And then I'm going straight down and I'm connecting every end of all the braids to the next braid. So all of the ends will be secure, and y'all, this will help you not to cut your hair out when you are taking your sew-in out. A lot of times when we don't secure the ends, it's easy to cut it out when you're trying to get your hair out. And most of the time we're trying to get our hair out in a hurry for another appointment or to do something else because we're going somewhere or something like that. So I always make sure that I secure the ends. And now I'm doing another straight back braid, or straight down braid rather in this case. And I'm going to connect it once again. I'm going to add oil to her scalp and into her hair as well. And then I'm going to use this little braid pomade here. And that just helped me because her hair was like really kind of like slippery and stuff. And I prefer to have product on the hair when I'm braiding it. I don't want to just braid it dry. And so like I just did, I connected the end of that first braid we did going straight down. And now I'm braiding down her second braid. And then I'm going to go ahead and transition into a twist. And I made sure that I put something on the ends of her hair at the bottom. Either a moisturizer or that pomade, whichever. Well, not moisturizer, but an oil. This oil I'm putting on her hair right here. And I'm putting it on her scalp as well in between the braids. So I'm basically going to do the same thing. Moisturize, braid down, connect the end to the next braid. And then when I get to the last braid, I'm going to connect both sides because I started braiding on the other side, as I'm going to show you right here. Connect both sides, and then we're going to braid all the way down. We're not going to leave any ends out whatsoever because, like I said, we do not want to cut those off. I've done it before a number of times. And so now I'm going to go ahead and transition into a twist. And I'm going to twist her hair and put some more oil on her ends so that they are not dry underneath her sew-in. You guys, you will notice that moisturizing your hair underneath the sew-in or braids, it makes it so much easier to take out because the hair is not dry and brittle. So you definitely want to make sure that you are moisturizing your hair under your braids. And because I couldn't find my crochet needle, I usually crochet the end or the tail underneath. But this time I just weaved it underneath the braids with my hands, and I'll be taking this sew-in out. So now the sew-in part, you guys, this is the shortest bundle so that it's still kid appropriate or preteen appropriate. So I took the Body Wave 18-inch in this pack. This is actually an 18, 20, and 22 pack. So I took the shortest one and I started sewing at the braid that I started with, which was at the very bottom. And we're going straight across. I've shown you guys in my videos a couple times how I sew my hair in and how I loop the thread, which causes my sew-ins to be super flat. I didn't really need a net or anything for her. Nets do make sew-ins pretty flat, but I think the method where I loop the needle in front of the thread makes my wefts lay really flat, so I really don't need the extra support of a net. So, and then I went at the very bottom of her braids and I just did 1 loop per braid. This is a quick way to get that sewing in and get it secure, you guys. Very secure, but we're not doing little stitches that's going to take us hours and hours. I always wonder why people say their sewing took 4 hours when it should only take an hour and a half. So yeah, then we're just going to do the flip over method and make sure that we hold that taut. Don't hold it too tight because you don't want any pulling or friction on the hair. This is meant to be a protective style, so you don't want to do any extra pulling. It shouldn't be tight, it should just be secure. And now when I get to the top, I'm going to do the same thing and sew all the way up to the top braid. And as you will see, I will connect this last weft to the top braid. That's the very top braid that we did in front of our straight down braids when we made that circle braid. This is why we did that, so that we can have something to anchor that last weft on. And then I'm gonna slant my weft and I'm gonna sew it down and secure it, the face in the way that I wanted the hair to fall. So that's why you see me turning the hair, because that's the way I want to sew it, because that's the way I want it to fall. I don't want it to go straight back. I want it to go straight down to cover up those braids. And then I'm just going to sew right across the top of that braid. Of course, still sewing very flat and looping my needle inside of my thread. As you'll be able to see, if that makes any sense, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to finish it off and secure that end and just cut it off. And then I just went back with a new thread with a lot of thread on there, a new needle, and just secured it. So everything is secure. And now it's time for this closure. I'm actually going to use this closure in a different way today. I'm going to use it to cover up her wefts and attach the braids, because her hair is natural and I don't want to leave any natural hair out to cover this straight hair. So that's why I got the Body Wave closure, even though I knew I was doing braids in the front of her hair, to go ahead and cover where her natural hair would have to fall to cover up that weft that we did at the very top. So I'm going to cut this lace off with just some regular scissors, and we're going to take this closure and we're going to lay it right across. So if you see, there's a little bit of braid left where I can attach this closure to the middle of her head. And what I'm going to do is just space this out. You guys, if I had time, I would have definitely flat ironed her hair. And I do recommend, if you have time to do it. So that it would look even more natural or seamless or just smooth. So I just went ahead and folded the closure right in half, and we're sewing right along that braid, and we're sewing the closure in a straight line to the actual braid. And this will cover up her wefts. It will cover up the pieces of braid that you see where there is no weft, and it'll just cover up her hair as well, her natural hair in the front, and you'll be able to see it once I finish. So just making sure that I'm sewing everything tight, not very tight, but tight enough to make the closure be secure against her braids, so that nothing is loose when she brushes her hair. We're going to make sure everything is secure and everything is sewn down. There's no thread that didn't get pulled taut. And I'm just going to go all the way across and just make sure that everything is sewn. And then you will see me taking the end of the closure and just closing it up. So I'm going to sew the outside to the bottom of the braids as well. You'll see me feeling for the braids that are underneath the wefts that I already sewed, so that I can sew the braids and the closure together as well. So when you take this off, literally all you have to do is look for the thread and just pop the thread. You won't have to do any cutting. You will just have to pop the thread with the scissors to get the closure off. And then I'm just going to go ahead and close this up, and you'll see me looping and knotting the thread to secure the closure down to her braids. And make sure you tie a knot. Don't just trust that it's in there. Tie a knot and make sure that it is secure, because you don't want that closure coming off when you brush the hair or try to style the hair. So this is what we're left with, and now her natural hair is going to be covered. And so I'm just going to make a part defining the back of her hair and the front of her hair, and everything in front is going to be braided. Everything in back is going to be loose. So this is what we had left, you guys. We only used 2 of those bundles. So now, just with some regular braiding hair 1B, I'm just going to do her some feed-in braids, 2 of them, 1 on each side. This is a super quick, easy style to do that is stylish, it's trendy, yet it's still adolescent appropriate. And so I went ahead and oiled her scalp as well, because the front of her hair is important as well. And I'm using that braiding gel. Got that from the beauty supply store. Actually, everything I used in this video came from the beauty supply store. And she had already done her edges earlier that day. And so we didn't just move them. I just left them there because I know that's where she was going to put them anyway. And I took one of those hard beauty supply store brushes and brushed the product in, because with these braids, you do need the hair to be really sleek. And as I told you before, I did not have time to flat iron. So that made the hair really sleek and easy for me to braid. Her hair is natural, so I definitely had to make sure that her braids were tight, and I did have to put product in them because I did not flat iron it. So now I'm just feeding in the first piece, which is a small or the smallest piece of hair, and I'm going to curve that hair and add more hair in to make the size bigger as I go. And don't forget, I'm also including her hair and the hair from the closure, because this is where the closure is going to cover up her natural hair that will fall over the back where the body wave sew-in is. So I'm attaching her hair, I'm attaching the body wave from the closure, and I'm also attaching the braiding hair that's creating the thickness and the length of her braid. So I'm just going to continue to add the pieces on. I did pre-pull out these pieces and measure them out to make sure her braids were the same size. We only used 1 pack of braiding hair in half, 1/2 for one side of the braid and the other half for the other side. Then I went ahead and just braided them down to the end, and I added some oil because her hair started to stick out a little bit at the ends where we didn't flat iron it. So I added some oil so it would blend a little bit better, and then I braided the braid all the way down to the end. I think we could have added some beads or something, or crossed them and looped them, but we ended up just putting it in a ponytail, and it still looked cute. So I'm just redefining her baby hairs or her edges, and now I'm going to pull that hair down where I want it to go ahead and cover. And that's why I was telling you guys I was angling those wefts so that they would fall to the side and not just be going straight back, because you would still see wefts if I didn't do it that way. So then I just tied it in a pony. Here you could actually use bobby pins and secure the ends underneath the braids if you didn't want them to show. But this is actually the finished look, you guys. And so we have a closure up there instead of her hair being out, and everything looks smooth and sleek, you guys. So this is the finished look. Leave me a comment down below if you like this video. If you like more, give me a thumbs up, and until next time, see y'all later. Bye.